everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. There is so much news to get into today. This weekend was a busy one for all of the athletes. I feel like we're just going to be talking to you about everything that went down. But first, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Do all the things. Now, here's the Fumble Squad. Although we are missing one member, Britt is out sick today, so we hope she starts feeling better soon. It sucks to be sick, but I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Hey guys, I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic. It's just the
Jackie,
two of us.
First things first. I know. It's just the two of us.
And we're matching.
Remarkably, I was just going to say that. We didn't even plan this. This is amazing.
So random.
I'm so
random. I know.
Well, we are going to carry the show today. I'm sure that since it's just the two of us, Britt is no longer the petty queen. We are going to have lots of shade being thrown from the two of us. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. But before we get into the news, I want to hear about your weekend. What did you get up to? Did you do anything fun or special or out of the ordinary?
So it's still my birthday month. So my friend took me to this Odyssey something. I forget the name of it, but it's like this big restaurant. People have weddings and stuff there, and the view is just spectacular. It was like high up on this hill. I have a tiny little car too. It was so high on the hill that driving up to it, I wasn't entirely sure my car was gonna get up that hill, but I made it, and it was just beautiful. It was bottomless mimosas. It was just fun. And I haven't seen my best friend because she's super, paranoid about the pandemic and stuff. So she hasn't really been out. So this is the first time I've seen her since I think like April or May. So it was a good time.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
That must have felt so nice to be reunited with your best friend again after that long. Jeez.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was fun.
I don't like driving up big hills for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
My car,
Mm-hmm.
my car can handle it. I get nervous that something's gonna happen and I'm gonna start rolling backwards. And then what do you even do in that situation? Like, do you dive out of the car? Like, what's the?
You just pray.
A lot. Yeah.
I always think that if it happens to me, I want a big truck that's going up the hill slowly so that I can hopefully hit the emergency brake, and then they can just stop me, and then I can put it in neutral and they can push me up. But that's best case scenario. There's probably a death in there somewhere, to be honest.
There's been thought that goes into this on your part, Jackie. I love it.
Yep.
Okay, so really quickly, Pahokee Sports gave us $5. Thank you so much, Pahokee Sports. You are all such a loyal and dedicated audience member, so we appreciate that so much. Okay, so
let me say thank you really quick too. Let me say thank you to him too, because he sent face masks, or the mask that you're supposed to wear. So he sent me a bunch of those. I know I shouted him out before, but I don't know if he'd been in here when I said that before. So thank you for the face mask, because I keep them in my car now. So there's been a few times when I have forgotten, but nope, I am okay because the extra masks are in the car. So thank you for that.
Pahokee, where are my face masks? Why didn't I get any face masks? Jeez, I'm insulted. I'm offended now.
Right? Sorry.
Also, I might as well fill you guys in on my weekend a little bit too. I was out in Joshua Tree, which is in the middle of the desert here in California. Right. It was so fun. The drive down there, I feel like I got hit with a little bit of unluckiness thanks to Friday the 13th, because the drive, which is supposed to take 2.5, 3 hours, took us 6 hours to get out there. There was so much traffic, multiple accidents along the freeway, which was rough. Mm-hmm. Once we got there, it was really fun. We did some hiking in the national park. We, looked at the stars. I saw 2 shooting stars, which was very fun for me. Love star. But yeah, so that was my weekend, you guys. For those of you who are tuning into the chat, let us know what you did this weekend. What was the highlight of your weekend? We like to hear it, and we'll have a little bit of time today to talk to you all about everything that you did. But now, let's get into what everybody's waiting for here, some sports news. Let's start off with this Chris Paul update. So Oklahoma City has traded Chris Paul to Phoenix for Ricky Rubio, Kelly Oubre Jr., Ty Jerome, Jalen, I actually don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name, Lekwe. Is that how you say it? I've never had to say it.
Well, I mess up everybody's last name, so I mess up everybody. I sometimes mess up my own last name, so don't ask me.
Okay, and some draft compensation. So this was all according to sources and The Athletic. So Chris Paul was traded to the Thunder last offseason in that blockbuster deal that sent Russell Westbrook to the Rockets. There were thoughts back then that the Thunder was going to trade Chris Paul, but he actually stayed. He spent the entire season there. He led them to the number 5 seed in the Western Conference, and now he's on the move to Phoenix. Jackie, what's your reaction to this news?
I think, we kind of touched on this last week. I think this is great. I was actually on a podcast this weekend, and I had said, I don't really think that the MVP race is a real thing. I think it's all a popularity contest. But I did find it a little offensive that Chris Paul was not in that conversation, because he literally did put that organization on his back and carry them to where they were. None of us thought that was going to happen, and that all happened because of Chris Paul. So I think when you're talking about Devin Booker and matching these two up, I think this is a perfect combination. I think that Phoenix needs to be over the moon excited about this, because this is going to work. Not only that matchup is going to work, but he is a veteran, and he is incredibly intelligent, and he brings all of these years of experience and his basketball knowledge to that organization. And I said that last week too. As a vet, you don't want to go play with a bunch of vets, especially when you're at the tail end of your career. You want to play with the younger guys who are, have that ability to kind of move and shake, because you don't want a bunch of old people on the court. That just people getting tired, and it kind of hinders you in a way. But I think this is fantastic. I think Chris Paul should be excited about this. I think Phoenix Suns fans should be excited about this. And I'm sure, I can't wait to see a tweet from Booker, because I'm sure he's excited about this. He should be.
Do you think that with Chris Paul and Devin Booker kind of heading up the Suns, that they'll be able to be title contenders next season?
I don't know if I want to say next season, because that's a little quick, but I definitely think, I didn't even expect him to do what he did with OKC, or the Thunder. So I don't even know. Maybe, because he did actually, that wasn't a conversation that I thought was going to happen, as far as seeing them go in the playoffs the way they did. So it's possible. I think that's a little soon. I think, he would need to be there for about 2 years. And then that second year, I think they're going to be contenders for real. But it's going to be fun to see. I can't wait to see how this all plays out, because I think it's a great thing for Phoenix.
Well, there's one update that our producer just messaged to me. One thing that's playing out right now is that it doesn't seem like Ricky Rubio is that thrilled. He actually tweeted ... what a business, with an upside down smiley face. And whenever you use the upside down smiley face, I interpret that as kind of being like, what the F? You know what I mean? Like, people use that upside down smiley face to be like, okay, this is what's happening, but I'm not thrilled with it. So he is not happy about it, apparently. Why do you think he is not thrilled? Do you have any guesses?
He probably doesn't want to leave. I think he probably felt that they were on the verge of something, because, they were the talk of the town when they were in the bubble. And then they won all those games, and it just amounted to nothing. But I think that we all kind of saw that, look, they're winning all these games. Devin Booker is having these amazing games in the bubble. I think we all kind of question, what are they going to look like next season? Because I think we got a glimpse of that they were on the verge of some greatness at that point. So I think we all kind of wondered, what are they going to do next season? So he probably doesn't want to leave. It's always difficult when you're in an organization, you have friends there, you love the city, things of that nature, and then all of a sudden you got to ship up and go someplace that you might not even want to be. You know what I mean? That's always going to be a thing. So he might not be excited about it, but he's right. It is a business. So your feelings at this point, although I understand you might have some feelings, they really just don't matter, because it's just the business. We've seen people get traded while they're on the sidelines and not be able to play in the fourth quarter. We've seen people get traded on the bus to their next destination. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I understand that he's upset, but it is what it is.
Well, I think I'm with you. I feel excited to see Chris Paul and Devin Booker teaming up in Phoenix. I think that's going to see. I think the young energy that D-Book brings is going to work really well with Chris Paul, because he is a veteran. He knows so much about, what it takes to be a winning team. So I think that this is going to be something really cool to see. And then just before we get into some need to know news updates, Jackie, Danny Green, we got to talk about this really quickly. Tell me your thoughts.
Danny Green is no longer going to be a Los Angeles Laker. I'm so bummed that Britt's not here today because she rides and dies for Danny Green in a way that I have still yet to figure out. I don't know what it is about Danny Green. I mean, I know she knows him personally, but I have friends that I know personally. When they don't do what they're supposed to do, I let them know. I'm not going to keep making excuses for him. So I don't know. I don't know what her obsession is with Danny Green, but I am glad that we are going to be getting Dennis Schroeder now because, he actually is a better scorer. Their percentages wise, as far as like their 3-point shot, I think Danny Green is maybe a little bit higher, but Schroeder's averaging like 18 points a game. Danny Green was averaging only 8. So we do get some extra shooting power. I think he's going to mesh much better in that system. I don't think he's going to get these wide open, uncontested threes that he just flat out misses. So I think that this is an improvement, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy.
I know. This is like what every Lakers fan was hoping for, especially after the bubble. Okay, let's get into need to know news, you guys. Let's talk about James Harden. So once again, we have another update in the James Harden Chronicles here. It seems like every day there's something new. He's locked in with the Rockets. He's requesting a trade. He's angry. He doesn't want to play with Russell Westbrook. But here's the latest one. Houston Chronicle announced today that James Harden has requested a trade. He's trying to force his way out to join the Brooklyn Nets. So that means the Rockets will be losing both of their superstars in Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Now, this is something that James and KD have already discussed. They worked out together in Los Angeles, and they had conversations about the possibility of a trade. They talked about all the details about how this could actually work. The Rockets and the Nets, at least according to the latest updates, haven't discussed this plan. The Rockets did make it privately clear that they would demand an insane return of players, draft picks, and pick swaps if they were going to give up James Harden. Now, luckily, the Nets are able to offer pretty much whatever to get him over there if they want to. But the real question is, will they do that? So if Kyrie Irving has anything to say about it, probably not. So even though KD and James Harden seem to be excited about this potential move, they're talking about it, figuring out how it would work, strategizing the whole thing. Kyrie doesn't want James on the team. Rick Kamla tweeted this update, writing, "Reading the tea leaves, it sounds like James Harden wants the Nets, but Kyrie Irving doesn't want Harden." So I'm not so surprised by this news, although if these three did team up together in Brooklyn, they would be unstoppable. But that has to be if they can put their egos aside and work together. So, Jackie, how do you feel these three guys on one team would work? Do you think it's going to be too many egos, or would they be able to put that all aside and become this unstoppable force?
I mean, I don't know. I've been saying from day one that this whole Kyrie and KD thing is going to be interesting to see that play out because Kyrie's he doesn't want to be a Robin. He wants to be Batman, and he hasn't really grasped the fact that his role, no matter where he goes, unless he goes to some, smaller team, that his role is to be a Robin. So when you have two guys, because James Harden has been averaging over 30 points a game for the last 3 years. So he's definitely going to expect the ball. And then you have KD, KD is going to expect the ball. I definitely think if I had to pick just which of the three, now I could only pick two, I wouldn't take Kyrie. I would just take KD and James Harden, and I would have to figure that aspect out. I think that this is an interesting dynamic. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work though, because I just don't see how it would work. James Harden has gotten better on defense, so I'll give him that. Like, he'll go on the other side of the ball and do what he's supposed to do. But I just don't see him being happy if he's not, averaging 30 plus a game. And so then what? How does that work if you have KD averaging like 27 to 30 points a game and James Harden is averaging 30 points a game? That they basically would be the only two people that got their hands on the ball, and that just doesn't work. So I don't know. No. I've read a lot of posts on this, and people think that if this happens, the Nets are the team to beat. I understand that logic on paper, but when you're talking about the personalities of these three men, I just don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know either. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. I mean, we've seen this be an issue specifically with Kyrie multiple times before, but I'm with you. I think that if I had this roster and someone said you have to get rid of one of them, Kyrie would be the first to go for me too, because I think that KD and James Harden are probably a little bit more willing to put their egos aside to work towards that common goal. I also think that James is going to be able to relieve some of the physical pressure off of KD while he's going to be coming back off of this injury, missing the entire last season. So it could actually work out and benefit KD to have James over there. What do you think James Harden joining the Nets means for KD specifically, and then the team as a whole?
So that's what I'm saying. On paper, this should be like, they should obviously now be the juggernaut. They should be the team to beat, on paper. But I think what would benefit KD the most is, and I've said this time and time again, when you come back from an injury, there's a whole mental thing that you have to go through as well, because now you're probably afraid to get that same injury. You might overcompensate, and now you're getting injured on the other side because you're, favoring that side a little bit more. So there's all these things that you have to mentally get over before, aside from the actual physical part of it. So I think having James Harden there would be great for KD, because he wouldn't have to push himself to the limit so much. If there's a day where it's just, he's not quite feeling it, maybe it's a little tight or whatever, he doesn't have to feel like he has to go out there and play a lot of minutes, because he knows James Harden is going to be able to pick him up. You know what I mean? So I think that's beneficial. Kyrie, same thing. Like, he's coming back from an injury as well. He only played 20 games last season. So same thing with him. Like, on paper, this should work, because they should be able to lean on each other. They should be able to support each other. And if no one had any ego, and if I have the hot hands tonight, then I get the ball. If I don't, then I don't. If they could do that, then on paper this should work, and it should be beneficial, especially since they're both, Kyrie and KD, are coming back from injuries. This should be the best case scenario for them. Again, on paper, I just don't know. I just have to see. I just have to see.
Yeah. It would be quite an experiment, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if this deal actually goes through. I just want to read some of the reactions that we're getting in the chat here. A lot of people are saying that James Harden is a ball hog, KD is too sensitive, Kyrie brings the team down. So this all comes from Noah. He seems to really feel like none of this is going to work. Someone said Kevin Durant's going to carry Kyrie. Lots of people here are thinking that it's just going to be too many personalities, too much going on, not enough, willingness to just kind of like work together. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Let's get into the second news.
Kyrie is the same guy that sat on the sidelines in Cleveland and didn't talk to the entire team because he felt some type of way, because he wasn't being utilized. This is the same guy that wanted credit. Now, there was that last game that he really did help solidify that for Cleveland, but at the same time, he couldn't hold the lead when LeBron was not on the floor. So he always wants these accolades that he just hasn't really proven that he should get. No one's taking away that Kyrie is incredibly talented. No one ever would doubt that in any way, shape, or form. I just think that sometimes he gets in his own way. And KD's got a big head, and James Harden thinks he's the man. And you have three guys on one team that all think that they're the end all be all. I just don't know. I don't know. And someone in the chat said I sound nervous about my Lakers. I am not nervous about my Lakers. I'm just not, because I just don't think that the main thing that I loved about the Lakers this year was there was no ego between AD and King James. Their camaraderie was flawless. They were like best friends. Yep. If AD had the mic, LeBron was right there cheering him on, giving him the props that he deserved, and vice versa. There was no egos. That's why they worked so well together, because there was no egos there. So if the Nets can work out like that, then yeah, then I might be nervous, because now if all of a sudden these guys are gelling perfectly, they're passing the ball off, now, okay, maybe I'm nervous. I just don't see that happening. So right now, not nervous.
I think that the relationship that AD and LeBron have is so unique because they are able to kind of respect the roles and responsibilities of each person without getting jealous or offended or insecure about it. And I think it really takes a special kind of person. I think that LeBron is largely responsible for the way that they've been able to flourish and develop that cool relationship. I don't see that happening with KD, Kyrie, and James Harden at all. There was one comment in here. Brian wrote, such pessimistic people. And it's not pessimism. It's just learning from history, taking a look at what's happened in the past and applying that to what could happen in the future. It's just facts. At least that's how I feel.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Also, Noah says, hands down, they will be an unstoppable team. Don't get me wrong, but with their egos, they aren't winning one playoff series. So James Harden is better off in Houston. Interesting. I think it's time for James Harden to leave Houston. I would like to see him somewhere else, but I do agree with the egos of each guy on the Nets. Let's talk about LaMelo Ball, okay? So LaMelo Ball is going into the draft with a brand new business venture, and it competes directly with the Big Baller brand. He announced on Friday that he's launching his own clothing line called La France. So he showed off some of the new designs on his Instagram. This picture here is one of them. I think there's another picture coming up of the front. It is very, very simple. I am no expert on men's fashion. In fact, I'm willing to admit I know nothing about it, but these seem just like pretty standard basic shirts to me. But they actually come with a pretty hefty price tag. So the shirt that he's wearing costs $70. And then this sweatshirt that you guys can see right now is $120. So to me, that seems outrageously expensive for what looks like a pretty average shirt and sweatshirt. I don't know. I mean, Jackie, before I finish this, what do you think? Are those prices outrageous for this?
I think he should have just kept doing business with his daddy if he was just going to overcharge for everything, because, that's one of the problems Big Baller brand had. They were overcharging for spotty products, products that even Lonzo couldn't even wear the whole time and had to change his shoes out. So there's no point in competing with your dad if you're going to have the same business practices. The only way you go into competition with your family is if you're going to do something better. If you can say, hey, the way my dad is doing business isn't right, it's not working, these are the reasons why it's not working, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do my own business, but I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to charge $70 for a t-shirt that people could actually get something that looks exactly like it for $9.99 at the swap meet. That doesn't make sense. So this is just him doing business exactly like his daddy. I don't like it at all. It's embarrassing to me, but it's the Ball brothers. It's the Ball family. You know what I mean? I'm not surprised.
I know. I do have to admit, though, the Big Baller brand got so much flack for those $495 signature shoes, the expensive shirts. I mean, everything about the Big Baller brand has been subjected to criticism. I keep freezing on my screen, so I'm sorry if I'm like cutting out for you. But you would think that after LaMelo watched all of this unfold, watched the Big Baller brand go from being a family business to pretty much the laughing stock of NBA fans everywhere, you would think that he would have learned something. So to me, this seems like a rookie mistake from somebody who absolutely should have known better. Yes, LaMelo is young, but $70 for a basic ass t-shirt with literally a small logo on the front, like, come on, even 50 would have made more sense for that shirt. So it just seems weird that he's kind of going about this business in the exact same way that LeVar did, by charging these exorbitant prices right out of the gate. You could build up to that, but unless it's like sewed together with like spun gold and has diamonds encrusted on the inside, it's not going to be worth $70. So
here's where I would co-sign. If he wanted to charge these outlandish prices, because I don't care what anybody say, this is damn ridiculous charging these kind of prices for these shirts and nobody's even going to know what it is. The logo's so tiny, nobody's even going to know what it is. It's a waste of money. The only way that I would co-sign on this is if he was saying, all right, I'm going to charge you $70 for this shirt. $30 of that is going to this charity. Like if he partnered up with a charity, so then I would co-sign on that, because now it's bigger than just a shirt. You're actually giving back, something like that. But literally, I could make this myself for $9.99. So
probably even less than that. And also, some Timothy Bishop here in the chat says, okay, look at Gucci shirts. If you want one, look at how plain they are. The thing is, Gucci has a decades-long history that's enabled them to, charge these high prices. This is a brand new business that's coming off the heels of a failure of another business that this whole family was associated with. So it seemed like.
But to be fair, to be fair, two things. Number one, I always laugh at people when I see them wearing a Gucci t-shirt, because I know you paid a whole bunch of money for that and it's a t-shirt. So I mean, I'm frugal like that. So I kind of always laugh at people when I see that. But the point is when I see a Gucci t-shirt, I know it's a Gucci t-shirt. You immediately recognize the brand. You can't even see this logo. You're not even going to know what it is. That doesn't even make sense.
I know, right? That's the thing. It's like with Gucci, you're getting something that's high quality. Yes, it is still too expensive. I personally would not buy a Gucci shirt. If someone gave it to me for free, I'd wear it. But I'm not going to go spend my money, mostly because I can't afford it. But with LaMelo's La France company, like it doesn't have the same like prestige and reputation. And I think it's also a bold move considering how we saw a big baller brand kind of go up in flames. Jackie, do you think that his fans are going to be willing to put up this kind of money for these simple designs, or is he shooting himself in the foot by charging so much right out of the gate?
I mean, look, we've talked about people paying hundreds of thousands, I think even $1 million one time for a rookie card, which I think is the dumbest thing in the world. So, I mean, I think his fans might, but at the same time, it's hard to say, because yes, I do think his specific fan base will get these shirts if they can afford it. But then that becomes the question, because his fan base is probably, their parents are going to have to buy the shirts for them. And my kid, I don't care how much he cries, I would get him the shirt, but I would make it. I would just look at it. I would make it myself, and then I would give it to my kid and make him think that he got this shirt. So I don't really know if he's going to be able to sell them like that. But I do think real fans of his will probably want to buy it, or they won't, and then he'll have to drop the price on it, and then they'll start buying it.
Exactly. And then the final question that I wanted to ask you, are you surprised that he is creating his own clothing line, or does this seem like exactly the type of thing he would do?
I'm surprised that he's doing it in this way. Like I said, the way he's doing it, he should have just stayed with Big Baller Brand and just made his own, like Lonzo had his signature shoe, give you a signature clothing line with Big Baller Brand. Because if you're going to do the same business practices, it just really doesn't make sense, because just looking at that shirt, it didn't look like it was of high quality. I'm telling you, he got the shirt from the swap meet and then just painted that logo on there. It's not, there was no real time and effort that went into the design of that shirt. You can tell that for sure. So I'm a little surprised that he did it in this way. If he was going to be heads and tail different from Big Baller Brand, like I said, charge $70 for it, and then donate $30 to charity, because now you're making yourself look like the good guy, and that's great because we know how the NBA likes to get behind the good guy. So do it like that, and now it makes sense for you to step aside from your dad. But when you're doing the same highway robbery with your brand, just stay with your dad and rob together. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
It's such a good point. I know. I do hope that we learn he's donating a portion of the profits to some sort of charity, because that would really make him look like the good guy. And I personally, I won't be buying it, but I would be at least a little bit more motivated. It would pique my interest a tiny bit more to know that it was going towards something good. But we'll see what happens.
But you know what?
I mean,
We should just put it out there. La France, send us shirts. Send the Fumble 3 shirts. Let us check them out. Let us check the quality. We will give you, your fans, the real on it, if it's worth it or if it's not. I can tell you right now, it's not t-shirts not worth $70. But if you want to give it to us, the Fumble will rock your stuff on a show, and we'll let the people know if it's good or not. We'll start there.
Such a good idea. I actually love that. Okay, yeah, good idea. So LeVar, LaMelo, whoever's in charge of all of this, if you're listening, send us the shirts. We'll give you some free promo on our show, and we'll also let everybody know if they're worth it. That's probably the reason.
But if I throw it in, yeah, because you know what's going to happen? We're going to throw it in the wash, and all of a sudden this long t-shirt's going to become a crop top because it's going to be horribly made, and it's going to shrink in the wash, and then all of a sudden we're going to be walking around in these little crop tops that people are like, I thought y'all got t-shirts. We did.
I actually wouldn't mind a crop top. A big fan of a crop top cute over here. So.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right. Well, that wraps up Need to Know News. Thank you so much, Jackie, for having such a fun conversation with me about all of this. You guys, as usual, if you have any thoughts, let us know in the chat what you think about the latest updates. And now, Jackie, fill us in on what's going on in the world of social media.
Okay, it's time for Post Up. Quarantine edition with the girl Jackie Ray. I hope you guys watched some football this weekend because there was a lot of stuff going on. It was actually an interesting week. The NFC West is now in a three-way tie because the Cardinals and Rams, Seahawks are all tied in 6-2. So part of that is thanks to DeAndre Hopkins and his catch. I'm going to show you this video really quick because if you guys didn't see it, you guys got to give all kinds of credit to the Arizona Cardinals on this one and what Cutler did in this moment, getting open. And then look at this. Hail Mary. And look who comes down with it. I know the Texans out sitting around somewhere mad. But if you can't really tell, because I know it's hard to see when it's in full motion like that, but ESPN did post a close-up picture of that catch just so you can see how amazing this catch is. Leo, if we can throw that. Look at that. Look at this catch. 3 people he had to come down with this ball. This is crazy. This is such an amazing catch. I loved it. But now it's time for DeAndre Hopkins gloat time. Take a look at this video. Devin, we have to talk about this one because this is crazy.
You know, in basketball terminology, that's what they call this. You know, when somebody get dunked on. It was on 3 people. Yeah, it was you know, they were in position. It was just a better catch by eye.
A better catch by you're doing too much. He said it was they were in position, but it was a better catch by eye. He's doing too much with this gloat. Devin, what do you think?
Well, first of all, the hair, I know we talked about this before we went on. Can we just discuss this for a second? Because it's, I mean, I like dreads. That they're just, I don't really know what to say about them.
This whole moment, because I understand why he's cocky, number one, but you're right. Like when you have to like move your hair out the way as a man anyway, that always bothers me. Y'all say what you want, but a man doing a hair flip always bothers me. But when you're doing a hair flip on I don't know, the whole thing just bothered me. I that's number one. Number two, again, I showed you the play. Kyler Murray had to basically get out of the pit of hell to throw that pass. So this could have been this moment for him to say, hey, you know, the fact that Kyler Murray was even able to scramble like that, get open and get me the ball, I just went up to grab it. You know, he could have said anything, but basically he's clowning the Bills instead of taking this moment to kind of give accolades to his quarterback, which I get it. Go ahead, you know, shine all you want. But maybe wear a hat next time at least. So maybe I can focus on what you're saying or something. And then say it was a better catch by eye. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I just don't.
That's what really gets me. It was a better catch by eye. I mean, I am such a stickler for grammar and for like proper word pronunciation and usage. So for me, it's just like, oh, it's cringy. But also, yeah, I think this was a really big missed opportunity to like show that sportsmanship mentality, that team mentality, and say that it was a team effort between both him and Kyler Murray, as opposed to just saying like, I did it. It was me. I did the best.
Right.
So I feel you on that.
Right. The chat says, I'm sexist now, and they say, what's wrong with the guys moving their hair out of their face? No, I didn't say anything about him moving his hair out of his face. I said him flipping. I don't like guys that flip their hair. I just don't like moving it out the way is fine, but when you have to flip, I don't like it. I don't care what y'all say. If that makes me sexist, so be it. I'm cool with it.
It doesn't make you sexist at all.
All right. All right, so let's get into this next one, because this next one is one of my favorites, and we're going to talk about why in a second. But you guys know the phrase, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So take a look at how Jameis Winston is warming up before the Saints game yesterday. He's doing this little running man hip dance. So there's a lot of reasons why I like this. Number one, we saw Dak do this, but Dak just did the hip. He's adding there's a lot going on in that, right? So he added the little hip thing. I actually like this because of where he's placing his feet. I know this is going to sound random, but Cam Newton has a problem. So like when he places his feet are like never facing his target, like where he's looking. His feet are never facing that. That's probably one of the reasons why he has a problem with accuracy. But with Jameis, when his feet plant, his head and his throwing arm are all facing the same way. If this is the drill that makes this happen, Cam Newton needs to start doing this drill because it's not working all the time for Cam. But I actually love this video because I don't know if you guys know, Drew ended up getting hurt, and Jameis was under center for all of the fourth quarter because Drew Brees ended up getting a rib injury. And we also know how this injury played out for Teddy Bridgewater. I think you guys remember that. When Drew got injured last year, Teddy Bridgewater had to come in and he rocked it. I think it was like 4 to 6 games that he had to take over for us, and he won all of those games. And now all of a sudden he's starting in Carolina. So Jameis Winston, you guys know he's the guy that threw 30 interceptions, but he also threw 33 touchdowns. People don't give him enough credit for those touchdowns because he was losing. So just in case you didn't know, there was a time in history where Brett Favre threw 22 touchdowns and 22 interceptions. People didn't care because Brett Favre could literally throw 5 interceptions in a game and then come back and still beat you. That wasn't the case for the Buccaneers, so that's why they mentioned that. But I think he should keep this up because if he ends up being the quarterback while Drew Brees is out, this could end up being his start somewhere else. Devin, what do you think? Do you think that if he plays well, even if he throws interceptions, but if he has to play like 3-4 games because Drew is out and he wins all of those games, are we suddenly looking at Jameis differently? And all of a sudden we're like, okay, maybe he does need another shot somewhere else starting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that certainly would help his case for sure. He's obviously dedicated, and if he makes a good impression, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to start for a different team somewhere else.
Yeah, I hope so. I really like Jameis, so I'm excited for him. Go ahead.
I want to add really quickly, watching him do those warm-ups, that's like, if anybody ever wondered what it looks like to see me dancing in a club, there you go. That's what it looks like. Seriously, I'm not even
all right, but see, now if you do that, people aren't even going to clown you. They're going to be like, oh, she's doing the Jameis. They're going to think you're doing it on purpose. They're not going to think you're awkward. See? He just saved you. He out here saving you.
Thank you so
that's
much,
hilarious.
I appreciate it.
Yep. See? Out here saving Devin from the dancing torment. I love it. So speaking of the Texans, they lost to the Cleveland Browns 10-7 yesterday. That game was dreadfully boring. You can tell by the score. But Myles Garrett did his thing again. He went out there and he racked up 6 tackles and half a sack. So he did his thing. And then in the post game, they asked Baker Mayfield, hey, what do you think about what Myles went out there and did? And his response, I don't know, just roll the video.
I think Myles took the approach of, real G's moving silence like lasagna.
Oh, no, please stop. Don't do it.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna. I was so confused. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Twitter was the same with me because the first tweet said the same thing. Like, is this a song lyric? And then help. And then somebody responds back, even if it is a song lyric, what's the meaning? Had no idea. And then somebody else tweeted that it was hilarious. The amount of people that think he made this up is hilarious and disrespectful to Lil Wayne. Okay, that was the tweet I needed because now I figure out that it's Lil Wayne. we talked about it before the show. My producer told me the name of the song. I still don't know the name of the song because I can't stand Lil Wayne. Probably gonna get drugged for that one too in the chat. That's fine. I cannot stand Lil Wayne. But he says real G's move in silence like lasagna. I mean, is the thinking that lasagna is quiet? All food is quiet. There's no food that could talk. I don't understand this phrase.
Let me explain. First of all, I weirdly did know that this was a Lil Wayne lyric.
What?
Which is so funny. Yeah, I knew. Because I have heard that in the song before, and I've always thought, like, it's kind of clever because when you think about it, if you pronounce the G in lasagna, it would be lasagna, but that's not how you say it. It's lasagna. So it's a silent G. You're moving in silence like lasagna. But also, I don't like Lil Wayne just as much as you do. So yeah, if we could connect in the chat, whatever. But I hate that that people are thinking that this guy just came up with this random ass comparison or analogy in his interview. How weird.
Yeah, I mean, even now that I've learned what it means, it's still a dumb phrase. I just don't like it. Okay, but all right. So Baker Mayfield out here quoting Lil Wayne. Congratulations. I think he won over some fans with that. Thanks for letting me know what that is, because I didn't even know it was a Lil Wayne song. So there you go. So even though Britt's not here today, every single one of us on this panel, we love Jimmy Butler. It's no secret here. None of us are shying away from that. I'm personally glad that he got to prove the haters wrong. People said that he was toxic. I knew from day one that wasn't true. Now he's in Miami, and everything is working as far as the relationship between he and his teammates. I'm loving this. He was looking a little rough in the bubble, though. But I think we all just gave him that pass because everybody was looking a little rough in the bubble because, he opened that coffee shop, but he did not open a barber shop. But now he got a new haircut. It's so cute. He posted the whole thing on his social media. You guys take a look. It's so cute.
You know, the last time I got a haircut is when you cut my hair for All-Star Weekend.
Are you serious?
I swear. Look at my head.
No, I figured, your quarantine was very soon after that.
Yeah. Well, that's why my mustache looked the way it looked.
Yeah. What is that?
This is incredible. I'm in my bag. Amen. Woo. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. They can't tell me not a damn nutter. Where Hems was at. Hems was always underneath there, amen. It's like night.
Somebody in the chat said, ooh, she's crushing. Probably. That was just too cute. I'm probably crushing a little bit on Jimmy Butler. Why does our screen say Cutler? What? It's Jimmy Butler. Play on words.
Yeah.
I don't like that. No, because people are going to be like, who? Just look, people in the chat right now. Who is Jimmy Cutler? It's Butler, but yeah, I love this cut by him. I love that he's on social media like this. Go ahead, Devin.
Yeah, I think he's feeling himself, but also I love that right now I'm the Fumble's decoder. I'm the one explaining the lasagna. I'm the one explaining Jimmy Cutler. Here I am.
I'm going to get you one of those, what did they used to put in the cereal? Those decoder rings. What, isn't that on that movie where that kid was like, it's that Christmas movie that comes out every year and it's like, you're going to lose your eye. The kid that wants the thing, the Christmas movie I'm talking about?
No, don't ask me about movies. We've already established I don't know the movies.
Oh my God, now it's going to bother me. It's the best Christmas movie. It's like, oh, you're going to lose your eye, kid. And then he ends up and he actually, because he wants the toy gun or whatever. Okay, whatever. I'll let you know when I figure out what that one is. Because it's Christmas season now. It's time to start watching these old Christmas movies again. All right, so we've talked about it already. It's true. The trade rumors are alive and well. This weekend, I saw an interview with the tennis star Nick. Oh, God, I forget his last name. But he said that he was hanging out with Giannis, and Giannis hinted to him that he wanted to go to Miami. So then, of course, trade publications started picking that up. Everybody was talking about that. And then I saw Giannis had done an interview over the weekend, and then he gave a quote. So his exact quote was, "There are a lot of rumors. Everyone has opinion, but at the end of the day, I will do what is best for my family. I do not see why I could not be in Milwaukee for several years. As long as Milwaukee and I are on the same page when it comes to being one of the best teams in the league and winning championships, that's fine." So that leads me to think that he's going to stay in Milwaukee, which I kind of thought he would stay in Milwaukee until the very, very, once LeBron is phasing out, then I thought maybe he would come to LA. But seems like he's happy with Milwaukee from that quote. If they can give him a max deal. I think that was the underlining statement of that, is like, if they give him a max deal and they bring in people that they can win, then I think he's fine with that. But then Dame Dollar posts this tweet. Okay, so somebody says when Giannis goes to Portland with the looking emojis, and then Dame Dollar just does the shrugging emoji. Is Dame trying to tell us something, Devin?
He might be. I really don't know. I don't know. I can't really speak on this. I don't think he's trying to tell us anything. I think that Giannis is going to be staying put, but he definitely is adding fuel to the fire with this.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, of course, with the trade rumors, everybody took this and started running with it like, oh, does Dame know something? Is he trying? I hate trade rumors. I hate them. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I will say this, the NBA Facebook, I barely go on Facebook anymore. I live on Instagram and Twitter. I should probably start going at least to the NBA Facebook page a little bit more, because somebody posted this meme, which to me is just a mic drop. There's no lies detected in this. Take a look at this. It says, Kevin Durant is like Kim Kardashian. I don't care how successful you are right now. I will always remember what you did to get there. I don't know if you guys remember what Kim Kardashian did to get there, but needless to say, my mom would be very embarrassed if I did what she did to get my fame. So I'm with her on that. Like, I don't care how much success KD gets. The point is he left an organization and went to an organization he couldn't beat. That's always going to mean something to me. So I'm with them on that one. This next one, we talked about this earlier. Josh Hart agrees with a lot of you guys in the chat, and he thinks that if James Harden teams up with Kyrie and KD, it's a wrap. Like, the Nets are going to be it. He tweeted this out saying, I was already over 2020, but if James goes to Brooklyn, then I'll see y'all in 2022 because they got 2021. Obviously, he thinks that's a wrap for everybody. This one kind of got mixed reviews. Some people said he shouldn't have posted it because it makes him look like he's scared of that situation. But then this tweet said, if Harden and Russ couldn't make it work, what makes you think Harden and Irving can? We kind of talked about that already. And then this next tweet says, bruh, I don't know about that. There is only one ball on the court, and neither Harden, KD, or Kyrie play defense. Going to have to be a lot of 120-point games. So James Harden, that used to be true about James Harden. He didn't used to play defense at all. He has gotten better at that, so that's not necessarily true. I just don't know if I'm a current player in the league, I'm not going to tweet something out that makes me look like I'm kind of scared of this squad because of their matchup. Like, I'm going to always present myself like I'm ready to give anybody any kind of work. That's just me personally. Whether I believe it or not, whether I'm really shaking in my boots or not, I'm just not going to let people think that I'm scared. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Devin, what do you think?
I'm with you. I think that it was interesting to see him tweet this. It does make him seem like he's scared and he's not confident in himself or in his own abilities, when I think each athlete should be going out there acting like they've already got it. You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody should ever admit any sort of weakness. Plus, this whole Nets thing is going to be, like I said earlier, such a big experiment with these three big personalities. And if they can work together, yes, they're going to be amazing, but if they can't get past that, it could be a failure. It could be an epic failure. So we don't even really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, they just need to work on their passing game, because none of them really like to do that. None of them really like to pass like that. Although KD he was definitely better with that with the Warriors. So anything's possible. Nonetheless, if I'm Josh, I'm not tweeting that I'm scared. This is not what I'm going to do. But, that's just me. This is my second favorite one of the post up because you guys know I talk about this all the time. I talk about my family all the time. Family is everything to me. I love the way that Giannis and his brothers really love each other, and they love spending time with each other. Take a look at this Instagram post. I think these guys need their own show, personally.
It's freak. They're doing it right today. Allow us, we'll show you the way. Aww.
It's so cute.
Oh, I love them.
I love them. I just love the way they love each other. They love spending time with each other. I would actually watch this reality show. I do not watch reality shows, which is funny because sometimes Devin and our producer are talking about shows, and the way they talk about it, it's like it's real people. I'm like, who are and they always tell me like, oh, they are real people. I'm like, y'all know that reality is fake, right? That it's all kind of scripted. But they're like, no. But I can't get into reality shows, but that one I could definitely get into. This next one though, this one is my favorite in the post up today. You're going to see why in just a second, because I just ordered 2 giant LeBron James canvases. I think I might have to get an electronic one because I want this wall art behind me in some way. A fan named Rudy Willingham, he printed every frame of LeBron James doing a dunk and turned it into this art. So he printed it and then cut it out. So you see where his jersey's cut out. So by hand, he cut that out and then literally took a picture of every little thing. You see the cutouts there, and then just made it into this little. The amount of time this had to take is crazy.
It is so cool. I love that.
I would love to have that like in one of those electronic picture things, like have a really big one and that just playing on a loop. That would just be so dope. I actually love that. But yeah, shout out to him. He actually does have a website, so shout out to him. But before I get out of here, I'm going to just tell y'all what we not going to do. And this one is brought to you by Jamal Adams. I think you guys all remember he was a safety with the Jets. And then the Seahawks, their Legion of Boom kind of just fizzled. It wasn't booming anymore. So the Seahawks gave up a lot to get Jamal Adams because they wanted that to change. They needed to step up defensively. They traded 2 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and their starting safety. And they're also giving a day 3 pick in the 2022 draft. So they gave up a lot to get Jamal Adams on their squad because they really believed that he could help them defensively. So keep that in mind as you watch how Jamal defended Rams running back Malcolm Brown. Keep that in mind. That arrow's where he is. He didn't even try to tackle him. Like, he made no effort. It took more effort for him to not try to tackle him than it would have if he could have just fallen into him. His momentum was going that way anyway. But so they end up getting that touchdown, and then there was just absolutely no effort on there. And he has not been doing that well on the Seahawks anyway. He just hasn't been doing well. So I think that Kenneth Norton, who is the defensive coordinator for Seattle, he needs to cuss that man out. And what we're not going to do is be mad at him if he does, but he needs to cuss that man out and tell him, boy, do you know what we gave up for you? You better get out there and do it. Especially all he had to do was like reach out a hand or something, and he could have gotten a tackle. But he got drugged on this on social media. I'm just going to show you a few of the responses that they gave him. This one says, I think we've seen enough to know, other than quarterbacks, it's hard to find one player that is worth 2 first-round draft picks. Guys on rookie contracts run the league. Got to think about that because they gave up a lot to give this guy who can't even reach out his arm to make a tackle. And then, of course, this next tweet. Do we have 2 more tweets, Leo? I think we do. Okay, yeah, so this one says, you have to think Seattle expected a safety that would be willing to try and tackle for 2 first-rounders. You hate to see it. So the Jets are over there like, okay, well, we got away with this. I think it's just shameful because now this is just living on the internet. And unless he goes out in their next game and actually does something big, this is going to be this moment that they can't live down. And the Seahawks, again, are in a 3-way tie now. The Seahawks lost that game 16-23. Of course, they were close enough to the end zone at that point. They probably would have scored, but maybe not. Maybe they could have held them to a field goal. And then now that probably changes the outcome of that game because we don't know what kind of momentum they would have gotten. I get it. Don't want to play what ifs. But when you're in a 3-way tie in the AFC or the NFC West, and you got a guy that you bet the farm on who's not tackling, I don't know, this means something. Devin, what did you think when you saw him not even make an effort to try to tackle Malcolm Brown?
Well, it's I mean, yeah, it was shocking. Like, why aren't you making more of an effort? It seemed weird and bizarrely like lazy to me. But yeah, I thought it was surprising as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I wanted to see him do a post-game interview. I wanted somebody to ask him about that. If he did do the post-game interview, he did it after, on another platform. He didn't do it right after the game, at least not that I saw. So I definitely want to hear his response, because this is one of those things that I think as a player you respond to. You say something like, I don't know where my head was at. I had a brain fart for a minute, lapse in judgment. I owe my team better effort. You'll definitely get better effort later. You know what I mean? But I would definitely go onto social media and say something about this personally.
Yeah, I think that it definitely warrants an explanation, because it was very weird to see that happen. But yeah, like you, I haven't seen anything from him yet. So maybe he's just trying to like brush it under the rug and hope people don't remember or didn't notice.
Too late. People are tweeting and retweeting. Everybody's going to remember. Yeah.
Maybe he's taking the Fumble's advice and he's trying to say less. So, but in this case, it's a say more. So, well, Jackie, unless you have anything else to share, I think we can wrap up the show now. Made it the whole hour. Just
we did it.
Red gals. Yeah, love it.
Not even planned, and we're wearing the red.
So cute, twins.
Yeah.
For those of you who were tuning in this whole time and chiming in the chat, thank you so much. We always love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and tap the bell. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Yep. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.